I, 24 male, am worried that my sister, 26 female, has feelings for my girlfriend, who's 24 female. My girlfriend and I have been together for 2.5 years, and we have a really great relationship. My sister and I have always been close, so I was really happy when she and my girlfriend met and hit it off right away. They get along insanely well, and it's awesome, or was awesome. It might be important to point out that they are both bisexual. Everything was normal up until about 3 months ago. They started hanging out together more often than usual, taking day trips, and having sleepovers and going out for dinner, etc. I didn't care about it initially. I thought it was cool that the two most important women in my life were such good friends. Then my sister Amy started making comments saying that if we ever broke up, she's first in line to date my girlfriend Emily. She calls Emily her wifey and follows her around like a lost puppy. Amy says that Emily is our girlfriend, and I swear she gets jealous when I interact with her. Then, last week, I got home from work, and as I walked through the door, I could hear them chatting in the living room. This isn't out of the ordinary. It was what I heard that really bothered me. My sister said, "Holy fuck, I have such a crush on you," in the most lustful voice I've ever heard. I really hated typing that. Emily laughed, and their conversation moved on, but it really didn't sit well with me, so later on, I asked Emily what they were talking about. I think context is important. She told me that they went shopping earlier in the day and were doing a little fashion show for each other. She said that those kinds of comments are normal between girlfriends and it's nothing to worry about. It made sense to me and I trust Emily. I decided to talk to Amy. I asked her how their shopping spree went, etc., and then gently asked her what the crush comment was about. She got very defensive and accused me of being jealous of her relationship with Emily, then told me to grow the fuck up. I'm not worried about Emily doing anything behind my back to betray me, and I never have. There's just something about the way my sister is acting that irks me, and I don't know how to approach this without blowing up on any of our relationships.
I hate my twin sister because she lied to our family. I'll try to keep this short. I just want to get it out. My sister and I, 20 female, are twin sisters, almost identical, and she fucked me up completely. I'm what people would call the outgoing twin, while my sister is the shy one. We're as close as twins are, but my mom refused to treat or let anyone treat us as the same person, as we are not really glued to the hip. She has her group of friends and I have mine, and she's really into dating. It's not an attack, but it's important, and I'm really not. But because of the way we are, people believe I'm the one who's having fun and she just stays in her dorm all day, which is not true at all. Well, someone did a revenge porn on my sister and sent a video of her getting... Oh no, I can't. Well, someone did a revenge porn on my sister and sent a video of her getting... by two guys to our dad, elder brother, and us with a fucked up message. The video wasn't taken directly on her face. You can tell it's one of us, but it's not close enough or HD enough to tell which. So the next day our parents asked to talk to us. Our elder brother is there too. And I'm like, okay, I'll let her talk since it's clearly not me and not my business. She tells them it's me. She fucking said it was me. I don't know why she lied though. Our parents didn't care at all. Like, they're more concerned about the way I don't know, since the video is hers, felt, and I wanted to proceed. I was stunned. I said it wasn't me, but my parents didn't believe me. They kept saying it was okay and that I was already an adult and that things happen and they won't shame me, that the one to blame are the ones sending the video and not me. My elder brother had to get them out of my face because I was on the verge of tears. I don't know what's worse, my sister lying with no reason or my parents not believing me. They left the room to talk to each other and I could only whisper to my brother that it wasn't me, and he said he believed me. He berated our sister in a low volume and she just sat there crying saying sorry. Things are weird now. My sister said she panicked, and since the one in the video isn't me, I said I won't proceed, and if the video gets out, I'll scream my ass out saying it's not me. I don't even want to talk about how my parents are acting. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Am I the asshole for taking back our groceries that my wife gave to her sister? My wife, 30, has a younger sister, 28, with 4 kids. My sister-in-law is a married stay-at-home mom and her husband, 31, works 35 hours per week. Money is tight for them, but they still go on annual vacations, drive newer cars, etc. My wife and I keep separate finances except for a joint credit card and household bills. I also do most of the grocery shopping. This is relevant for later. A couple years ago, I found out my wife had been buying groceries for my sister-in-law on our joint card about $150 to $200 per month for a few months. She said that her sister had come to her saying they were tight on money and that she needed help feeding their kids. This is about a month after they had got back from their most recent vacation in Mexico. I told my wife in no uncertain terms that I am not supporting their family. She argued with me saying that we could more than afford it. I replied that I don't care if she wanted to support them, but that's her business. Am I the asshole for taking back our groceries that my wife gave to her sister? My wife stopped buying them groceries on our joint card after, but I'm sure she told her sister because sister-in-law has been standoffish since. In the last few months, grocery costs have been increasing thanks to inflation. As a cost-saving measure, I bought a whole cow for about $4,000, which works out to be about $9 a pound, and will last us more than a year, and my wife and I split the cost. Yesterday, I went to the freezer to pull some steaks and saw the amount of beef was visibly lower. I checked our security cameras and saw my wife leaving the house with a big box. I texted her demanding to know if she had taken a bunch of our meat to sister-in-law, and she replied yes. I grabbed sister-in-law's keys, we have a copy, drove to their house, knocked on her door, and when sister-in-law answered, I told her that I was taking back what my wife brought over. Am I the asshole for taking back our groceries that my wife gave to her sister? Sister-in-law protested, saying I was taking food out of their kids' mouths, but I said I don't care. She already had one roast in the oven. I went to their freezer and they had about 40 to 50 pounds of ground beef, steaks, and roasts from our cow, including a couple prime rib roasts. I grabbed it all except the roast in the oven and drove home. My wife yelled at me saying she couldn't believe how selfish I was and that sister-in-law called her crying. She also said that she paid for half of it and so she could do whatever she liked with it. I yelled back saying you don't get to decide to give away anything that we pay for together, and said she acted like a sneak thief for doing it behind my back. My wife is still angry at me and says until I apologize to her sister, return the meat that I took back, and apologize for calling her a thief, she won't speak to me. I may be the asshole because my wife pays half the groceries.
Storytime. I'm in a long-distance relationship and I don't know if I should break up with this boy or not. So, a little background information. Him and I were best friends for almost a month before we started dating. And literally, as soon as we started dating, he started asking me for nudes. And I would be like, no, not tonight, I'm tired. And then he would keep asking me why. And then he would start to make me feel guilty about not wanting to send him nudes. Eventually, he would just say, it's fine, I'll just wait until we can do physical things together. And he still has, quote, his hoes on Snapchat. And he still has all of their nudes and everything. And literally the day before we started dating, he told me that he liked this one girl. And he'll always hang up the phone to talk to her instead of me. And then when I bring it up, he tries to say that So obviously I try and bring this up to him. And he tries to make me feel bad by saying that he thinks about unaliving himself. He also has a few other red flags, like for part 2. Storytime. I'm in a long-distance relationship with this boy and I don't know if I should break up with him or not. So, like I said, he says he always thinks about unaliving himself, so obviously I feel bad for him and I just love him so much that I can't let him go, and he has a bunch of other red flags. Like, he'll tell people he's 13 and other people he's 14, and, he apparently didn't know his birthday. Well, fast forward, he's been texting me more, and when I told him I loved him, he left me on open, which he never does. He always says it back to me. We still haven't really been talking on the phone, but I did send him pictures. Not fully nude, but both times I sent those, he literally called me right after. But other than that, he will never call me.
I'm an asshole for refusing to give my father and his wife money that my father saved for me before he met her. My father married his wife when I was 12, 4 years after my mom died from cancer. My father's wife had a 3-year-old daughter who a year into their marriage was diagnosed with a form of cancer that is tricky to treat. She underwent chemo and radiation and it did not work. Treatment itself also was very expensive. My father was never wealthy, neither was his wife, and their daughter was not in their life. There was only one thing that was easily sold and that make enough money. It was my mom's engagement ring, which was left to me in her will and was mine. And it was my mother's and grandmother's and so on. It's extra sentimental as well. My father decided that it could be sold to pay for treatment and I said no. I begged him not to. And his wife told me that his daughter's life was more important than it. I told my father I'd never forgive him if he went ahead and did it. And he went ahead and sold it anyways. And I cut them out of my life once I turned 18. And I still hate the two of them. My stepsister's cancer has returned. And now they want the money my dad saved for me before he married me. It's not a lot of money. I told him I would not do it. His wife once again called me selfish. Now they hate me for it. I'm an asshole for letting my wife's daughter be homeless. I married my high school sweetheart after we both had failed marriages. By the time we got married, she had a grown daughter and son. Although I desperately wanted kids, my first wife didn't want them, so I missed out. My wife's first marriage was with a man who was a very bad person. He died a few years ago, but they were divorced for almost 10 years before. Due to how he handled money, her son got to go to college on a sports scholarship, but her daughter didn't have the opportunities. Her son and I are fairly close, but the daughter doesn't like me at all, and hasn't spoken to me in 7 to 8 years. We've been married for about that time as well. And she's very rude to me. Recently, she moved in with a boyfriend who is very similar to her late father. Very controlling. She wants out and has been able to find an apartment that she qualifies for. because she doesn't have good credit or a stable job. She's in her late 20s. My wife and I are both retired and have done well, but now my wife is pressuring me to co-sign on an apartment for her. I've been an accountant for a very long time, so I do not like to co-sign for things because I know how it ends up. And my wife is upset that I just won't do it. Daughter never asked me to, and it's all my wife. So I'm an asshole.